Yannick. Thank you for being here today. I wanted to have you on because in the herbal and botanical ingredients world, we talk a lot about purity and tradition, but how ingredients are actually made is just as important as where they come from. And today, more brands and practitioners are realizing that it's really not enough to have the right plant on the label. The extraction process has to be safe, has to be transparent and sustainable. So there's really this emerging concept of clean label, and I thought your ingredient was a really good introduction to this topic because it's such a popular ingredient. Could you tell us more?
QWB business is to develop, manufacture and supply plant extracts as ingredients for food supplements. QWB philosophy to do that is based on three main principles. The first one is clean technology, and clean technology means for us to have both safe and sustainable ingredients. The second is to have premium quality, standardized in high-level inactive molecules. And the last one, but not least, is to do that with an affordable and stable price for the consumers. And that's not so easy to reach all three altogether, but thanks to the team with more than 30 years background in this industry, and also we are backed by an advisory board of international experts in this field, we are pretty confident that we can achieve this goal.
So your first ingredient that you're working with is a really famous ingredient. It's French maritime pine bark. Can you tell us more about what it's used for and its history, why it's so popular?
Yes, very famous, popular, with a long history in this industry. And it's also the first ingredient developed by QWB. The raw material is pine bark coming from a sustainable forest in the southwest of France. And why is it sustainable? It's because when you cut a tree, you have to plant a new tree. It's compulsory. And the second point, very important, is that in this forest, you have only Pinus pinaster species. Then in this forest, in this area, we have only Pinus pinaster. You can find Pinus pinaster more or less everywhere in the world, but to find Pinus pinaster it's only in this area. Then the first point was with the raw material, and we start with the raw material, which is a byproduct from the wood industry, then the Pinus pinaster bark from this area, from this forest. Then the second point for the sustainability is the process, because we use only water as the extraction solvent. And as doing that, of course, it's much more safe, much more sustainable, more safe for the workers in the plant, and more safe for the consumers, because even if you have some remaining solvent at the end of the process, it's only water, it's not other solvents. And doing that, we can achieve a good quality, very good quality product with a standardized level inactive molecule. Again, that thanks to an innovative and patented process. Because if you use only water on crude barks, you will not reach this high level of molecules. But thanks to our process, we have started by purifying the raw materials and the bark, and doing that, you can use only water for the extraction and reach high level inactive molecule. The process is very interesting and very efficient too, but as a process is much more simple, and as you use only water during the extraction process, you can reduce globally the cost. And then we have altogether sustainable, high-level active molecule, and with a very low cost if you compare with other ingredients of the same quality.
So utilizing your technology, you are able to do extraction using only water that gets a high level of active ingredients. How is that possible?
It's possible thanks to our process, because when you use only water, you are going to extract all the extractable material soluble in water. Then if you have a lot of materials that are not soluble, that are not active, but soluble in water, you are going to decrease the content of active molecule in your product. To avoid this, the only way, especially with the pine bark, it's not true for all raw material, but for the pine bark, if you purify the bark, you can achieve high level inactive molecules only with water. Then the tough work was to purify the bark, because as I told you, the bark is a byproduct of the wood industry, and if you extract directly the byproduct, you are going to have a lot of extractable materials that are not procyanidins, and then your first extract with water will be very low in active.
Can you tell us more about how that differs from competitive products out there on the market? Why would there be concern for clean label?
The traditional products that you can find on the market, you are going to have as a first extract a product with a low content in active molecule. Then you have to purify it and to use techniques and solvents. You have to use blends of water, of course, it's not very cheap, but also ethanol, ethyl acetate, and some hydrocarbonated solvents to make sure that you can reach this high level of more or less 70% of protoxide. Then that's the main difference between our product and the other premium product existing in the market. Our product is cheaper, as you said, and it's also more sustainable and more clean label. We have to notice first that pine bark extract is on the market for roughly 50 years now. And we know that it's safe, because when you have an ingredient for 50 years in the market, you are 100% sure that it's a safe product. Of course, keep in mind that it has to be from Pinus pilaster, because from other pine trees, maybe it's good, I don't know. Is it safe? I don't know, but I am sure it's not the same. Adulteration is always a strong issue in this business.
I think that's a really good point, a really interesting point, that, even though the traditional product out there on the market is called French maritime pine bark, what's actually on the market may not really be that, right? Might be, other parts of the plant mixed in with it as well, and that's getting a lower quality final extract. So in doing a process that really just specifies what is traditional, you guys are getting a much higher result and more clean label. It's used for a wide range of things like cardiovascular health, circulation, women's health, skin aging.
It is backed by many clinical studies in a range of a lot of different indications. But we wanted to start something much more new and innovative approach to support the efficacy based on nutrigenomics.
Where can people find you? I heard you're going to be going to VitaFoods next month in Barcelona. Is that true?
Yes, sure. We will be present. We don't have a booth, but we will be present at the VitaFoods. And of course, always pleasure to discuss more in details with people interested in this ingredient and more.